SK Vibemaker, DJ Illness. We're here, man. We're in the virtual room. We're feeling fired up, man. Illness, you fired up still?
Bro, I'm calm.
You're feeling warish, innit? You're feeling warish.
I need to talk. You know what it is here? I'm in the mood to talk about something positive after talking about something so heinous. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of war in here. So I think we need to just get this out of the way and then we can keep it moving. Something that we're not going to talk about because it's completely done and it happened all in between of the period that we just took a break on was the war between Kendrick and Drake. But there's been like a DJ war going on the streets of London that we kind of need to address. And the only reason why I'm addressing it is because in the last podcast that we did with Friction mentioned his, and he spoke from a good place about his, trials and tribulations being an Asian man in a predominantly white European country doing black music and the struggles and things that he's faced. And something that popped up on everybody in the UK's timeline that we all saw, comments from a capital extra DJ called Kennedy Taylor. Now, Kennedy made some comments about records. I mean, listen, if you're from the UK, you know exactly what the comments were. But she made some records about comments that had been, tracks that had been overplayed. And, she was bored of it.
Can we just give a little bit of context? Because Kennedy Taylor is an open format DJ who is, she's risen from the underground. She's from Manchester. She's now on nationwide radio, Capital Extra. Okay. She's female, just in case you didn't know. And she's white. And I feel like this has been maybe a big part of the reason why she's faced a lot of criticism for her social media, shall we call it, statement of talking about songs that she doesn't want to hear in the club anymore. You know what I'm saying, Ills?
Well, definitely. My thing is this. The response that I saw on social media to a lot of her comments was, why are you not talking about any white artists? And I was like, first of all, the people that are saying this, are you a DJ? Because this was a DJ comment. And second of all, is this what we're doing?
Well, let's talk about the songs that she said that she doesn't want to play anymore, though. I feel that that's the reason why maybe it hit a bit of a nerve. There was Gigs Talking the Hardest, which people see as a national anthem. There was Scraps One More Chance, which is obviously an artist that's risen from the underground and people champion. There was Ding Dong Ravers Gas, which comes from, reggae dancehall sectors, and people feel very passionate about that. And then she mentioned some American records, which I feel like were maybe less relevant. She mentioned Chris Brown Loyal. She mentioned Keisha Cole Love, and she mentioned the Fantasia song. And I don't play. I play Chris Brown Loyal occasionally. Yeah, Fantasia. You know what I'm saying? But where I feel like a lot of the maybe DJ fraternity and industry maybe felt a bit spiky about it, maybe me a little bit as well, is because those UK songs are very much part of our UK legacy and our culture. That doesn't give a right for her to be abused on social media, for people to go into like racial slurs, for people have a right to debate with her, to reply. She has a right to have an opinion, but if you put an opinion out there and you make a statement, you need to be ready for the retort. That doesn't mean it has to be disrespectful, but people do get disrespectful. That's not cool. She doesn't need to accept abuse or, like I say, racial slurs. And that's the way that it's gone.
My thing is this. A retort is the word you used. And your retort should probably be about the comments about the records. Do you understand what I'm saying? Less about, your heritage. And it like, obviously, after going through the conversation with Friction and then seeing this happen to Kennedy, it's like, I have to ask this question, because is black music inclusive? Like, and should black music be inclusive? Those are the two questions that I really want to talk about. Because do you know, and I ask this question, do you know a black reggaeton DJ? Do you know one?
I don't.
Do you know?
I know black DJs that play reggaeton. I don't know if I know a black reggaeton specialist.
I play reggaeton.
Yeah.
I play reggaeton. I'm just picking on genres, like, humor me. Do you know a black Bollywood DJ? Do you?
No.
Like real talk. But when you look at hip hop,
what's your point that you're trying to make here?
Well, is our music inclusive? That's the question I'm asking.
I feel like you've given an answer though, because you asked those about the other genres, and I don't know if you can give a conclusive answer, because I'm sure that there are some of those, but maybe they're not out there as much as maybe in hip hop sectors, like being a bit more inclusive. But
maybe we just don't maybe we don't care about the music that much. Exactly. That's what it is. We don't. But
when you look at this hip hop thing, you can definitely see a lot of cultures involved. Of course, hip hop music has came from black people originally, and is predominantly made by black artists. That doesn't mean, and I'm going to put my opinion out there, that doesn't mean it's only for black artists. Doesn't mean it's only for black people. I have not heard any black rapper say that I make music for black people only. Of course, the music is going to resonate with black people more, because when it's talking about the struggle and the perspective and that, it's going to resonate, but it doesn't mean that it's only for. That's my opinion.
So on the back of that, why when somebody not of black origin makes a comment, a polarizing comment, do we then attack their race? That's the question I'm asking.
Well, so obviously Kennedy Taylor, the statement of like these certain songs that she doesn't want to hear no more, and she's used Gigs, she's used Nines, and she's used Ding Dong, Ravers, Gas, she's used Chris Brown, and she's used Fantasia, she's used Keisha Cole Love. I feel like the more the point is, like we saw in the comments on a very popular blog on social media, people mainly talking about the Gigs and the Nines song. Do you know what I'm saying? The Gigs and the Scrap song, sorry. Scraps One More Chance, Gigs talking the hardest. And I want to go through some of the comments. Like, I don't really want to spend too much time on that. I feel like I want to talk about, Go.
You know what
I mean? But some of the comments were like, who the F is she though? That was Nines himself. Go and learn to season your food and stay out of our music. Who asked for your opinion? That's what someone said. Who even made her relevant to talk up is what someone said. Imagine being a non-black person working at a radio station for black music and complaining how much you hate culture shifting iconic black music. Somebody else said, go play ABBA in your local pub. But then there were some comments that were for. Let's be honest, people aren't mad at her opinion. They are mad at her skin color, is what someone said. Somebody else said, she's onto something. Somebody else said, was she lying or? Somebody else said, bad vibes, UK strikes again. She's entitled to her opinion. Somebody else said, deep down, we all agree. I definitely feel like if a seasoned white DJ like Tim Westwood in his prime, or someone like Charlie Sloth now made these comments, it definitely wouldn't have been received like it was by Kennedy Taylor. So is this also a sexism thing as well as a race thing as well?
This is mad. But you know what? I want to ask you this question. Because I wasn't going to do this, but we're here, bro. We're here. Like, this whole podcast was saying I wasn't going to. We got so much to talk about it, but the problem is when you get into it, you got to dig out the whole weeds. So let's get into it, bro.
Man said the weeds.
I'm going to ask you this question. As a DJ, bro, can anybody tell you what to play?
Nobody can't tell me what to play, but it depends on what type of DJ you are. There are a lot of DJs out there that are very impressionable. There's a lot of DJs out there that go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely a lack of DJs which are pioneering, which are specialists, which go against the grain, which try to break music. Yes, I said it. There's a lack of those type of DJs. A lot of DJs jump on the bandwagon, man. Let me ask you the same question, Ills.
I'm gonna come off of the back of you saying people jumping on the bandwagon. I know Kennedy Taylor, for people watching this. I know her personally, and this conversation I'm having is not me trying to defend her, because I don't believe Kennedy needs defending, in my personal opinion. I think that this conversation is part of a wider conversation that almost every DJ fraternity has on every link up. And that conversation is tunes that are rinsed out. Yeah. And if it's not a song that's rinsed out, tracks that are what a DJ would call a cheat code, or as Kennedy would call a get out of jail free card. Right. Now, if you're a DJ and you're jumping on a bandwagon and you don't necessarily know how to rock a party, you're going to think, what does everybody like? What does everybody, I'm struggling a little bit here. How do I get everybody back? But if you are a DJ who is worth your salt, you never get into that place. You never get into that pocket where you're looking around thinking, what am I going to do? Now, me personally, I'm a resident DJ at the moment. So I know my venue. I know the crowd. I know the clientele. I know what I'm doing. But I might go to a club in a different city and not know the vibe. So I have to work. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think that is the difference, because if you was in imagine this now, you was in a rave, you get to a rave, let's just say you're fashionably late. You pull up to the rave at 1:30 and a DJ's playing. And then the next DJ comes on at 2:30 and they play. And you hear the same songs in this set as you heard in the next set. And then the next DJ comes on at 3 till 4 and you hear the same songs again. Are you not going to be tired, fam, of hearing the same songs every single time? And this is what I'm saying about bandwagonists. Like, guys, yeah, if you are a DJ and you're watching this, because this is completely a DJ conversation, yeah? If you are a DJ and you don't know how to make people listen to you and recognize that you have a sound and you have a style, go back to your bedroom, bro. Go back to your bedroom, sis.
All right, hear this though.
Go back to your bedroom.
But case in point, I think we're acknowledging that a lot of DJs are followers and a lot of people within this music industry are followers as well. So if Kennedy Taylor makes a statement that I don't want to hear these songs in the club no more, and she says Gigs Talking the Hardest, which is the national anthem, Scraps, One More Chance Freestyle, and Ding Dong Ravers Gas. 2 of those songs are very much stemmed in this UK culture, the underground rising. There was a time when UK rap wasn't getting played in the club. I don't feel like we need to get too far away from forgetting that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Kennedy Taylor was trying to build a campaign, but a lot of DJs and a lot of people in the music industry are followers. So when they hear that, they start thinking, you know what? Yeah, man, you know what? I ain't playing Gigs Talking the Hardest anymore, or Scraps One More Chance Freestyle. And the next thing you know, those artists start getting marginalized a bit, or those songs, which are classics. I feel like we need to harness our culture and legacy. It's very important, man. And those songs ain't that old. We ain't co-signing lazy DJs, man. DJs. There's a time for these songs, though. I'm not saying rinse them out like that. There's a time for these tunes and there's time for our legacy to be celebrated. But the conversation, I feel like, what's come to surface with Kennedy Taylor, again, Manchester born, now London based, female, white, open format, plays a lot of rap, knows her stuff. People are judging how certified she is, but it begs the question is, are non-black people really embraced or in this rap culture like that, this hip hop culture? What's your answer to that, Ills? What do you think? Are they embraced? Are they welcomed like that?
This is my take. It's not really an answer to your question, but an answer to your question is in my take. Black music is black music. It was created, owned. Okay, we might have borrowed a little bit of influence here and there, but it's our thing. Yeah. And the reason why I know it will forever remain our thing is because if you think back, like, for example, just to be simple, if you've seen the film Dreamgirls, where they're making the black people do the music for white artists to then go and sell it commercially, because at that time we weren't allowed on MTV until Michael Jackson changed things. History lesson. That was happening. If it was possible for black people to be removed from our music, it would have happened a long time ago. So I sit in a place where I'm just comfortable. I'm not feeling threatened by anybody of any race. I'm just not, like, this is ours and it will forever be ours. But the truth of the situation is only really happening now where we are starting to own things. If you look back at Prince, right? I'm going around the houses, but I'm coming to land, right? If you look at Prince went on a marching campaign when he was alive of every successful artist that he believed in, telling them to own their masters. Again, lawyers and publishers and all those people that have more information than this, please come to the podcast and let's have that conversation about why that's important. But it's only now we're starting to own it. Black music hasn't been owned by black people from it went into the mainstream. So of course, because of that, everybody's involved. Everybody's welcome. If you go into any major label's office, what you think, you're just going to see black people there? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I don't want this to sound like I'm anti any other race. I'm just saying everybody is involved in this, from the marketing to everything else. Maybe not necessarily creating the music, from everybody else. So I don't feel like, I do feel like black music is inclusive, but I just want to make very, very clear it is black music and it came from and it belongs to black people. If that offends you, your business. How's that for an answer?
Right. You know what? I feel like, you see this hip hop culture here. If you are going to be a participant or a patron of this hip hop culture, I feel like you need to know your stuff regardless of your race. If you're a non-black person, like, you need to be a student of this. Like, you need to be a student. This is how this rap game goes, innit? In my opinion. If you are a non-black person, I feel like you have to really know your stuff though, because yes, people are going to test you. I'm not saying it's okay. People are going to test you. You can't really come in on you see, like, maybe if you was a DJ who plays like maybe pop music, you could just kind of go with the wind and just kind of be a bit more surface level. If you're going to come in and want to be a certified rap DJ or somebody in the culture who's certified, you have to know your stuff. I wonder if you're a non-black person, is it easier for you to penetrate the culture, or is it harder? Because I remember when Eminem as a rapper came through, people, there's been certain rappers that people have said, oh, they're just busting because they're white. Do you know what I'm saying? There was a time. So I beg the same question as well. Do you feel like if you're a non-black person that you can bust easier, cut through easier than a black person?
Put a pause on that whole bust easier thing. Put a whole pause on that bust easier thing, because you're getting mad. I want to say this.
Cut through easier, come on.
Right. I want to say that it's my belief, maybe I've got the rose tinted glasses on, maybe at this point, yeah, that everybody has to prove themselves. Like, you and I have been in this music industry for a very long time, and we knew people that maybe would have been more popping than we were when we were coming through, and they're not here no more, bro. And that is not shade. That is just the case that you have to prove yourself. And if you think you proved yourself today, you see next month, you got to prove yourself again and prove yourself again and prove yourself again. So in different areas, like geographically, it's going to be easier for different people to be successful. That's not music. That's just life, I suppose. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I think everybody has to prove themselves. The only thing that I want to say that with Kennedy, and I just want to put this on record because I'm not trying to be Mr. Kumbaya, I think her articulation kind of put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, because it was almost as if she was speaking about great music, or it could be taken that she was speaking about great music like it was nothing. But because I know Kennedy and I understand her personality a little bit, I don't think that's the case, and I didn't take it that way. But I can understand people not liking her tone on certain records. So maybe for everybody, if you have a platform, you need to articulate yourself correctly so that people understand your point rather than your disdain. Feel me?
The videos was reposted on the Shade Borough of Kennedy Taylor's comments regarding, you know what I mean, I don't want to hear these songs in the club anymore. And like we said, man, we've looked at some of the comments. What did you think about the comments when you saw the comments, man? Did you expect them? Is this something that you usually expect? Do you think it's normal?
What I want to say is this. Yeah. The people that are civilians, and when I say civilians, we're not talking about street crime, but you're not part of the music industry and you're not a DJ, that made comments, I expected all of that because it's the internet. We're on the internet. People within the industry and DJs were making certain comments that made my eyebrow raise. I didn't get it.
Why did your eyebrow?
I didn't get it.
Why did your eyebrow? I can't even say it. Why did your eyebrow raise, man?
Because there were racist comments from people within the industry that should know better, or racist undertones in their comments from people that should know better. I expected better from a few of them. I'm not naming names because I don't remember everybody, and I'm not calling one if I can't call all, but I expected better from a few people. The people that don't know her just don't know her. So Nine saying, "Who is this woman?" is calm because he just don't know. Maybe today, a couple of weeks after, he knows her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's fine, but nah. should know better. You should know better. If this is your if this is your career path, if this is the place that you're in, you should treat everybody with respect. And if you see somebody that is, you know, going down on the wayside, I'm not saying you have to captain save them, but you know, you got to give them a bit of room to reach, to learn and grow. Personal opinion. I've been here a long time. I've seen them come and we seen them come and we seen them go. So that was my opinion on the comments.
I'm not saying Kennedy Taylor is a culture vulture because I've seen her DJ and she does her thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And she knows her music as well. I think obviously maybe she needs to work on her brand. I don't know if she cares about working on her brand or whether she wants to be known more by those people in the comments. And maybe if they even did know her more, they'll still have those same comments as well because there's ignorance. Do you know what I'm saying? But how do you feel about culture vultures within this hip hop culture? Do you think there's still a lot of them that are there about?
You're asking me. Listen, I just want to say this is our podcast and I'm giving you my opinion. It's absolutely on site, but I don't profess to be the professor or the know-all of this.
Or the oracle. Nah, talk your stuff, man.
So hear what I'm saying. I think that this music has become, this music has come from the grimy pirate radio stations to the glitz and glam, and we've made many millionaires. So it's definitely a great time to be in this culture now. And obviously anything that's glitz and glamorous attracts people that don't appreciate it, don't respect it, and maybe don't even deserve to be around it. That is my belief. I think that identifying a culture vulture is very easy because you see the people that are on it until they get what they want and they go. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of tribes form in this music because you can tell the people that are passionate about the core, the essence of what we're doing. And I just say to the people, I'd consider myself one of these people that care about the core. Yeah. Just keep your circle tight, man, because we can't stop them. They're out there. They come, they lean, they try to do their thing and they run with it. But you can't see them on the inception. You can only tell when they leave. That's my take. What do you think?
I don't think they last very long. Man. I see through a lot of them as well because they're here. And sometimes I don't actually think they know that they're culture vultures as well. You know what I mean? That's what I think is funny about it. But yeah, man, culture vultures gonna be here. They've been here. They're going to stay being here. Do you know what I'm saying? Just in case you don't know what a culture vulture is. A culture vulture is someone who comes into the culture and maybe is not even that passionate about it and just tries to, for a lack of a better word, rape the culture, capitalize off the culture without caring about the culture, giving back to the culture. Is that somewhat of a definition of a culture vulture, Ilse?
It's an understandable one. Let me ask you this question then. Would you say that Drake was a UK culture vulture?
People have always been saying this, man. I think like there's a grey area as well between a culture vulture and maybe the music business, man. Like collaboration has been a thing. Collaboration has been a thing. Do you think, we'd like to think that a big artist would like to collaborate with an emerging artist just to give them a platform. But the majority of the time, an artist are doing calculated collaborations. C&C.
AKA business.
Music business, bro. So whether you want to see that as like Drake culture vulture in this UK thing from before, I think that he liked the music and wanted to tap into it. Like, what real kind of evidence, serious evidence is there that Drake has been culture vulturing? Maybe some of the artists themselves that have been collaborating with Drake can maybe speak on the business, because I feel like maybe that might be a telling sign as well. Like if he's collaborating with them, but then he's giving them nothing on the business end as well, that might be an indicator. I don't know. Do you feel like you feel like he was culture vulturing, right?
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting nothing in your mouth, brother.
Pause on that, because you went mad. I said words, it was calm, and then you went mad. But back to the conversation. I just think that given recent events, everything about this man's character has been put into question. But there's a joke that goes around, which is called the Drake stimulus package, and all of the people that benefit off of Drake's stimulus package. So even if he was a culture vulture. I mean, I understand and I've heard from various sources that Drake loves UK music. And I've seen him even talking about back in the day when he was watching Sneak Bow, and he must have linked Sneak Bow in one of his early shows. And he was talking about a man called Johnny Guns, who you need to be deeper in the underground to understand who he was, because he never came outside or never came mainstream. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Drake knows his stuff. So I don't think he's a culture vulture, but I think that stimulus package was utilized by a bunch of people. And hopefully everybody that got the stimulus package made the most out of it. Like, it's just as simple as that for me. My thing is this. I think it's very easy to be negative. Generally, I think it's very easy to be negative. But if you don't have a plan within yourself and what you're doing, then you can be led down the garden path. If you've got a plan and you know what you're doing, then no matter what happens, you can figure out and utilize and make the most out of it. At the end of the day, everybody is there to be used in the right way, not to be, abused, just to be used, because the more people that you can use, the bigger your network, the bigger your net worth. All of that kind of stuff that people say.
Lyrics for lyrics, calm.
I don't think, all right, that part, but I don't think Drake is a culture vulture. I just think it's really interesting the conversations that, and the people that get pointed out and used as a culture vulture. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Eminem was a culture vulture. I think Eminem is a very passionate rapper. You mentioned him earlier and said about, how he was received when he first came into, black music. But I think it's fair to say that he proved himself.
Mm-hmm. This hip hop music's tribal, man. It's very tribal. There's people that are definitely very passionate about it, and I'm not saying this is okay, but there is a cynical viewpoint. Like, when I feel like outsiders ain't the word. Non-black people step into the culture as well. There's a cynical bit. Like, it's like, prove yourself. It's prove yourself, and I think that the proof is in the pudding, man. Look at the history of hip hop. And look at where we're at now, man. There's a lot of participants, very valuable, certified participants in hip hop culture worldwide, whether it goes to the boardroom level, whether it goes to the record labels, people that are signing the artists, whether it goes to the artists, whether it goes to the A&Rs, whether it goes to the DJs that are non-black and are very valuable parts of the culture, man. So, of course, hip hop music has been designed and created by black people. The history is there, and the majority of people that make it are black. But I feel like everybody's welcome to the table, man. It's not for me to say that. I think like the majority of people feel like that, innit? And there's ignorant people, man. I feel like those people that we see in the comments as well, like, people are out here for bants, man. They're having jokes in the comment just to make their day, bruv. And I feel like as well, being in this music industry, being in showbiz, being in entertainment, showbiz, get that out of there. Delete that. I said that. Yeah. Being in this music industry, you need to have thick skin. I'm not saying it's okay, but you definitely need to have thick skin, man. And it's a journey, man.
Just to wrap, because there's something that I think and take for granted, but if I don't say it into this camera, people might not understand that I'm there. I understand checking people that are culture vultures. I understand checking them, but I think you need to do your research before you check them. That's all I want to say. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think you need to know where the person comes from to make sure. And the other thing is this: if you see a culture vulture, don't repost them and spread their message. What are you doing? You're giving that person a platform. You're actually helping them to achieve their goal, which is negative in our thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, why are you going to shine a light on something that is really bad for something that you hold like dear and cherish? Like, that's kind of backwards thinking. This is why certain newspapers will never be on my timeline. Never. Even if the information is fantastic. Because I know what you're on. Certain publications, I will never, because I know, I'd rather just mention the story rather than say where I got it from, because I know what you're in. I'm not on bigging up your thing. And I see a lot of publications utilizing the black culture because they know we're loud in social media. They know what we're on. Do you get what I'm saying? But anyway,
let's not get it twisted, man. UK dancehall artist M.R. He came under the microscope. I feel like for the reasons people are looking at this guy like, this is a white brother in reggae dancehall music. And for a long time, he was put under the microscope. People were like, is this guy a parody or is he the real deal? You know what I'm saying? We saw a few interviews. People have like, thought what they thought, and I feel like he's definitely getting some valid cosigns now. And I mean, unfortunately, when non-black people come into this hip hop culture, they have to pass a bit of a test. You know what I'm saying? They definitely do.
It's not unfortunate. It's not unfortunate. You've got to prove yourself. But we all have to prove ourselves. And I don't know much about M.R, but the dedication and passion he's putting in is showing everybody, whether you respect him and think he's the best artist and you want to put him on a plateau with Vibes Cartel, or you think he's going to be here for 5 minutes or not, that's down to you.
Now, why are you going to go and do that, man?
Do you get what I'm saying?
Why are you going to go and put M.R in the same conversation sentence and as Vibes Cartel? I dare you do that, man.
It's not a how dare I do that. I'm saying if you think he's the greatest, Vibes Cartel for me is the greatest, or if you think he's a low level is another conversation. I'm saying he's proving his passion and his dedication to dancehall. That's what he's proved. Because you're opening a different door. Do you think he's as good as even Intense or Squash or one of the more newer artists? Would you put him on that plateau?
Does he have to be as good as? He just needs to be doing his thing and he needs to be like, I feel like with
Answer the question, bro. It's ONSITE. It's ONSITE. Answer the question.
Is M.R as good as Intense and Skeng? No. In my opinion, no, he's not. He doesn't need to be as good as them to have a place in dancehall or UK dancehall. He doesn't need to be as good as them.
I disagree.
He needs to be as good as Skeng and Intense.
Are we gonna? No, because the conversation, the point that I'm making is, if you wanna, dancehall is just as aggressive and just as competitive as hip hop is, bro. So if you're coming in this thing, you have to be as good. Otherwise, it gets long. Like, come on, bro. There are how many artists have had a career as long as a Bounty Killer?
But I said, in my opinion, as good. I'd like to think that my opinion is pretty certain. Like, it's based upon years of being a pupil of this game and definitely understanding the culture and music. In my opinion, he's not as good as. But does he serve a purpose to a particular audience? Maybe a younger audience that maybe don't like dynamics and variation is the spice of life, is what they say, innit? So variation is needed. In my opinion, he's not as good as Skeng and Intense, Roger Wild. You know what I mean? He's not as good as them. But does he have a place?
Okay.
He could have a place. To me,
I think he's made his place. I think he's cut his own lane. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be here, but I'm saying now that you've been embraced, now you have to go the distance. That's what I'm talking about. But
he's definitely more under scrutiny. He's definitely more under scrutiny because of the color of his skin, right? And I think maybe it's a bit more like, it's a bit more scrutiny when it comes to reggae dancehall as well. Because not only it's a deeper cultural thing, innit? Like if you're entering into rap, hip hop, maybe it's just like, it doesn't matter where you are.
It's not mainstream.
It's not that it's mainstream.
HR in reggae dancehall.
Nah, it's not that it's not about the mainstream thing. Bro. It's not about the mainstream. You can be a rapper with an Irish accent and that could be accepted. A reggae dancehall artist that maybe is not born in Jamaica or spent a significant amount of time out there or connected to the country like that, but has like an accent, I think is gonna be checked, man. You're gonna be checked.
So what? So which part of Jamaica did Byron Messiah come from?
Yeah, but he lived there though, didn't he? He lived there.
And that's what I said. Jamaica. But
he lived there. He lived there. He lived there from 2 years old. From 2 years old, he lived there. He moved there, innit?
Okay.
So you have to know the story, though. You have to know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know. I do know what I'm talking about, and I do know that Bounty Killer got onto him. He said that's not dancehall. So this is what I'm saying. But he made a smash hit and he's done his thing. It's just the point that I'm making. I understand what you're saying, but do you understand what I'm saying? It's just the same. It's just the same way as well. Like there's a lot of like boxes that artists are put into. So whether people thought Byron Messiah was dancehall or not, I know that when I spoke to him in an interview about him being a dancehall artist, he was quite sketchy about it. The same way how if a black artist comes out and is a singer, the majority of the time they just call it R&B artist. And a lot of them artists will tell you that I'm not an R&B artist, but because I'm a black singer, people just say I'm an R&B artist. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're a black artist that you come out and you're kind of poetic, they're just going to call you a rapper. They're not going to call you a musician. So there's a lot of boxes that artists are just put into anyway. Listen, R&B has to be the topic of discussion the next time we get in front of these cameras, because
for real,
we have been neglecting our music, man. But listen, man, my guy, I feel like we've concluded, man. I do feel like hip hop is arguably the most inclusive music. And I just think that, people within the industry, you need to really how do I say, comport yourself better. If comport's the wrong word, I look like an idiot, but I don't care.
I don't want to send shots at other music genres, you know? I don't want to send shots at other music genres, but I feel like a non-black person is way more comfortable going to a hip-hop show and concert, way more comfortable than if you were a non-white person going to a rock show. Have I said a lot? Have I said a lot?
You said what you needed to say. You didn't need the disclaimer. You should have just said it with your chest. It would have hit a little bit harder. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, fam. The conversation is on site, my guy. What are you telling me?
I was going to do the Nardwar thing, dun, 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 or whatever he does, but it didn't work out, man. SK Vibemaker, DJ Illness, you done know the thing.
Back once again.